Welcome to Writer's Corner, and it's the return of Daniel Asa Rose. How dare you ask me if I picked out the music?
I wasn't able to hear it, Joe.
I was.
I figured if there was a prominent flute, I figured that was your doing.
I thought that you were my Ian Anderson interview with that beard.
The funny thing is, on my drive over here, navigating 128, which you infernally put me through, I heard Ian Anderson for the first time in, 15 years?
He's back.
He's back. We're all back. So my return to your show, to your great good presence. I'm delighted to be here.
And this is our wonderful Winchester studio.
I like it.
And you were at Winthrop.
I was at Winthrop.
So you're getting the access tour.
But I'm not a Boston person, so this is very confusing to me. You're having me go through these stop signs and landmarks. I alienated about 40 people getting here. Well, with my Rhode Island accent. They didn't, take a shine to that. They said, "You're not from here."
Can I start that last you left us, you have gone to New Mexico to write a book?
Yes, I've just gotten back from 6 months in New Mexico. That was the book that I was going to write when Larry popped on the scene 2 years ago.
Your cousin?
Yes, I was on my way to New Mexico 2 years ago when Larry called me out of the blue. I hadn't spoken to the man in 15 years, and he wanted me to go to China to save his life, to get an illegal kidney. So that was a 2-year detour, having that adventure or misadventure or comic romp or whatever it was, all of the above, rescue mission. Got back from China, wrote the book in 6 months, and finally got to go to New Mexico. So I've been in New Mexico for 6 months working on collecting the information for my next book.
When you get an illegal kidney, and when he goes through the airport through these scanners, does it...
He's not carrying it.
Oh.
It's not in a bucket or something. It's inside him.
Right. But now when they get the body scanners, does it say illegal? Or
the trouble was, the hard thing was getting out of China with an illegal kidney. It's not actually illegal here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in China, we had such good connections that we made, not knowing a soul when we headed over. Larry gave me very little notice that I needed to save his life. He took me by surprise on so many fronts, as you probably remember. We hadn't spoken in 15 years. Since he tried to rat me out to the FBI. There was a little bit of bad blood between us.
He must be very grateful to you now.
Oh, he's so grateful. That's a joke, right, Joe?
I'm asking questions.
Larry's not the grateful type. No, Larry was grateful for about 2 days in China. When he came out of the operation after 2 months of being in China, and he had this illegal kidney plunked into him, his face was pink. He looked like at his bar mitzvah again. I hadn't seen him look so good since his bar mitzvah. Not bad for a 55-year-old dude. And he was very grateful at the time. But as soon as we got home, the gratitude, I don't know, what is it about human nature, Joe? Teach me. I'm so naive. I expect people to, good things, and past continues and snowball.
I think human nature is really too all-encompassing. I think certain individuals are grateful and respectful, and other people are just, they go into shut-off mode.
It's really odd. And some people don't expect good things to happen to them, and they don't expect to meet good people. And so when somebody goes out of their way to go halfway around the world on their own dime, and to take 2 months out of seeing their kids, and to devote their time to getting him an illegal kidney and putting themselves at risk.
At great risk.
At great risk. It doesn't fit their worldview.
Surviving the FBI is one thing. China, that's bad.
Well,
China?
Yeah, especially since the last time I had been in China had been 25 years earlier when they had thrown me in a jail cell. Well, I was 25 years younger, Joe. Remember how we were 25 years earlier when we were drinking and all that stuff?
Don't say we.
Okay, I will take all the full response. I was drinking barley beer in Tibet, fermented for 2,000 years or something. It smelled like it had been fermented 2,000 years. I went into a yurt and drank some barley beer. I emerged from the tent feeling very happy. This is 25 years ago. This is not this adventure. And when I came out, I saw in the distant smog, some Chinese soldiers in full regalia. And when you're 30 years old and full of chung, barley beer, it seems like a good idea to approach them and ask if they know a shortcut to the Dalai Lama's house. That's what they said.
If you're inebriated, it might seem like a good idea.
Yeah. It was not a good idea to the Chinese soldiers who didn't like being in Tibet in the first place.
So you didn't want to go back in the first place.
So after spending 3 hours in a jail cell, I did not. I had sworn that if I ever got out of China alive, I would never go back to that infernal place. So here's my cousin calling me out of the blue, after 15 years of bad blood, saying you got to come back and get an illegal kidney for me. I was not. And I wanted to get to New Mexico instead to write a different kind of book. So,
and did you say to him, is there no one else?
Yeah. And he said, there's no one else. Because all I did to you, Dan, was try to turn you into the FBI. What I did to the rest of the family was far worse. So I decided to take his word for that.
Oh, wow.
So I was the only one he had. Plus, he thought I had the chops. I didn't have the chops. Well, as it turned out, I guess we got him a kidney, so I guess we both had the chops. But I didn't know anybody in China. My only, contacts were those Chinese soldiers who'd been blowing smoke rings in my face for 3 hours. And I wasn't going to call them up. They weren't my pen pals.
Briefly, for our viewers, what was your prior experience prior to writing Larry's Kidney?
Well, let's see. I've been a writer for a long time. I had been the travel columnist for Esquire magazine, a column called The Enlightened Traveler, which basically meant the inebriated traveler. I never thought of that. It should have been called the inebriated traveler.
At least your cousin realized that you had this experience.
I used to go travel around the world a lot. My assignment was to go. They didn't even care where I went. Go, have an outlandish adventure, meet colorful people, report about it, and we'll print it. And we won't bail you out if you land in a jail. So I did that for a bunch of years, and that was great fun. Then I got remarried again and had more children and decided to stick more closely to home. So I was actually on family vacation in a chairlift when Larry called me and dropped this on me.
On your cell phone?
On my cell phone. That he wanted me to go the following Sunday to Beijing and get him a kidney illegally.
Now, we spoke about a year ago, so the paperback edition is coming out. Will that be on Morrow?
It is just coming out now. It's on Morrow. It's so cheap now, Joe. It's only like $14 now. It's like anybody can buy it now.
Well, moving right along, so is it like officially out?
Yeah, it's just officially out as of a few days ago. People can get it on my website, www.danielasarose.com.
And is there anything different in the paperback edition?
I cleaned up a couple of typos. It's basically the same. I didn't change the...
No bonus chapter?
No bonus chapter.
Hateful Larry.
I expanded the acknowledgments a little bit. I thanked a few more people because people were so good to me. I mean, not only in the support of this book on these shores, but the people in China who stuck out their neck to do an illegal thing for us. I mean, the hospital could have been closed. The surgeon could have had his license stripped away. People left and right everywhere, Joe. It was,
people helping people.
People helping people. You hear, and after 25 years ago, China was a very different place. I had been scared to go back because it was harsh, and police were pulling people by their hair down the streets, and it was a scary place. And they did what they did to me in the jail, which was not that bad, having smoke rings blown in your face, but in the scale of things. But it was not a place that I wanted to go back to. But when I came back 25 years later, a new generation has taken over, and they were loving and generous and hospitable, and they took us under their wing.
Perhaps you should write an article about how beautiful people can be in the world and how some people don't deserve their kindness.
That'll be an interesting article. We could.
Do you think it would register with people?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah,
it might get through.
When I go around talking about the book, I say there's an old Chinese expression that no good deed goes the late David
Brudnoy used to say, unpunished.
Yeah, but apparently there's that in every language. That's human nature.
Oh, no good deed shall go unpunished.
Yeah, so that's basically what happened here, and audiences understand that. And I should have known it. And in fact, I kind of did know it because I knew that Larry was Larry. That's the kind of guy he was. There's an old parable also in almost every culture. In this culture, I think it's a scorpion and a camel. Scorpion wants to get across the river, and the camel says, "Oh, I'm not going to give you a ride because you're a scorpion, you'll bite me." And the scorpion says, "Well, I won't bite you because then we'll both drown and it won't be in my interest." So the camel takes him on his back, and halfway through the scorpion stings him, and as they're both going down, the camel goes, "Well, why?" And he says, "Well, because I'm a scorpion, dummy. That's what I do."
Well, see, to play devil's advocate there, I think the no good deed shall go unpunished is the anomaly. I think you basically meet people, and there's some great people out there. And it's the very small percentage that do bad things that get on the National Enquirer.
That may be true.
And they blow it up, so all the bad stuff is the stuff that's out of the ordinary. If everyone was doing bad things, the Enquirer would have all the good people.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
So it's the anomaly. So
maybe
it's
maybe so. If the percentage of people who were good to us versus the spies, well, even the spies. Remember, there's a twist at the end of the book. Even the spies turned out to be on our side and helping us get the kidney.
Well, your new book is finished?
No. I've just started the new book.
Oh, you just started?
I spent 6 months in New Mexico collecting, researching.
Are you going back?
I'll go back this winter. I love it out there. It's beautiful.
So you will go back, but right now you're back here.
I'm back here. It's my son's 15th birthday in a couple days, so I'm back for that. And
is this the first interview you've done since you've
yeah,
returned?
this is it.
Oh, good. We're honored to have you back.
this is-
But my point in asking all this is because maybe the next book after this would be a book about humanity and how people treat you.
You know, how
You've
do you
got
know?
the
Have you been
experience.
looking over my shoulder? You've been
No,
reading my notes?
we spoke before we went on air.
It's true. It's no, it's true. It's a lot about the goodness of. I don't want to sound Pollyanna-ish, but wherever I go, I am so impressed with the people that I meet. It's not the same world it was 25 years ago, or maybe I'm not the same young man I was 25 years ago, so I'm attracting a better karma or something. But here we were, two nudniks who didn't know Chinese, who had no contacts in China, and on very little notice we land there and we throw ourselves on the mercy of that giant nation, and they took us in. And they
Without
helped
knowing
us.
the language is the toughie for me.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I
no
don't-
language, but we used body language, you know, and by the end I was communicating, and they were communicating with me just as beautifully as if I'd been there for years, with not a word. I hadn't learned a word. It's just that people get by. People understand each other. If we were doing this in another language right now, Joe, I think we'd probably be having almost as fluent a conversation, just by our body language, our gestures, our winks, our smiles, you know. People.
I'm glad we're doing it in English.
It does have a.
In English. So the paperback, will you go and tour behind it
Yeah, I'm going on tour for the paperback.
with Morrow, and so Morrow sends you to like stores around the country?
I pretty much have to do it on my own.
Oh.
Yeah, but then they back me, and then they will send the books and do a nice PR stuff like that. They
Go
did
up to Portland and have some fun. Go on the Amtrak and
Yeah,
just go up to Portland and hit the bookstores, you know.
Portland, Maine.
Yeah, and there's like the
I love
Concord
Amtrak.
bookstore here, and then
Yeah.
there's right here in Winchester.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have to look at the traffic situation, but we should take you to Bookends.
Yeah.
Before you leave.
Cool.
I should take you over there.
If anybody who's listening wants to invite me to do a reading, or even if you like this book and want to have me in your book group, I'm not far away. I'm outside of Providence.
The book groups are a fun thing.
Yeah, they were great fun.
That are. When did this phenomenon start? These book groups.
You know, I think over the last 10 years, they're
It's
a
a
real
rather
phenomenon
recent
now.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. It is, and they're a force on the market.
Well, I walked into the Reading Public Library and there's stacks of this white book, and I stacks of them, 30, 40 copies. So
Yeah.
I borrowed one, couldn't get through it.
Well, how come?
I even forget the title of it.
Oh.
It was like
Oh.
it just.
But was it a
It wasn't
book club
compelling.
book? Or?
It was a book club book.
Oh.
And
Usually they're pretty dead on. The ones that they adopt are the ones that lots of, you know, it's mostly women readers in this country now for some
Right,
reason.
right.
So most of the book groups are women, but there are also men's groups starting up too.
Well, I know a lot of guys that read books. Like
Yeah.
my roommate reads books all
Yeah.
the time. I
Yeah.
know a lot of guys who read books.
Yeah.
But the women get together with their sewing circle kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll be careful there. Or their sherry hour or whatever they're.
Well, you know, I'm being cute.
Yeah.
I'm not being rude.
No,
it's,
no.
it's like a.
No,
it's
they
a
do. They
cool
get
thing.
together.
It's a
I've been
social
invited
thing.
to some, and actually some of them, some women down in the Westport, Dartmouth area, prepared a whole Chinese feast for the book club and invited me, and we were repasting on these dim sum and stuff while we talked about Larry's kidney in China.
Well, you know about the Border Books, Barnes & Noble phenomenon, where they built the coffee shop so that women could date men in a nice, serene area.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so you can sit there
It's a
reading
great
your
idea.
book,
Yeah.
and then maybe they'll see the picture and say, "Are you the
Oh, yeah,
author?"
are you that guy?
Yeah, I'm a famous author.
That's true. I'm wearing the same hat that I was wearing on the book cover. So that could be my.
I mean, just an idea.
Good idea.
But you know that the Borders and the Barnes & Noble, they were doing very well with that.
Mm-hmm.
They told me that they wanted families to come on Sundays and just hang out, the kids and everything.
Wow. I have done that with my kids. They love to. They sit on the carpet in the kids section. They go through book after book, and I'm looking at CDs, and it is a nice place to hang.
And speaking of CDs, I went into BJ's Wholesale Club because they gave me like the 60-day free pass.
Yeah.
They don't have CDs anymore.
No.
I asked two employees. Now here's the scary thing. I said to the employee, "I'd love to see the Rolling Stones' Exile on Main Street."
Yeah.
"Oh, where's your CD section?" "Oh, it should be here." So I asked the second employee, "Yeah, it should be there. I'll go ask the manager." They didn't even know that they don't carry CDs.
Oh my. What do they carry instead?
DVDs and games. Games, like the video games and DVDs.
I'm not ready for this, Joe.
And at least I'm a producer and director of a DVD, so at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, no CDs
No
at BJ's
CDs?
Wholesale Club.
I didn't know that.
So
World is changing too fast.
It is. The record labels, I think, are pushing.
Yeah.
more than they let on.
Well, Joe, when we come back and do another interview a year or two from now, when the new book comes out, we'll be saying books. Remember when they used to have books?
No.
In
I
stores?
think since the Bible's been around a long, long time.
But the Bible didn't contend with it. Didn't have the internet to contend with.
Still, the Bible's like the world's oldest book that we know of?
Well, I think the Bible will be available. We're not going to lose the Bible and all those great works of literature. They're just going to be downloadable, and that's how people are going to do it.
I think people want to collect, I think I have an autograph here.
Is that autograph from 2 years ago?
Yep.
What did I say?
Daniel Asa Rose.
Did I say anything endearing?
No.
I didn't.
No.
I thought we hit it off so well. Why
You
didn't I
probably
say-
did. This is probably an additional.
Oh, it probably is. 'Cause I remember being very fond of you, so I probably said something fond somewhere.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a little bookcase when you walk into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Of all the important books that, upcoming guests and stuff. So it's
in
because
there.
I have a busy life.
I know.
And this
You
was
have one
there.
of the busiest lives I've ever encountered. When you tell me your stories, we do a little chit chat before we go on. They're amazing. You have known so many amazing people, except Mick Jagger, right?
It's fun. I haven't
Except
met Mick Jagger. I've met all the Stones
and
except
that's
for
the one
Wyman
guy
and
that
Jagger.
I have met.
And so tell me about it.
Okay.
Where and when?
It must have been 33 years ago because my son is now 34, and he was in my then wife's arms. We were at JFK Airport waiting for
Jagger was in your wife's arms?
I don't think it worked, though. He was about as
Oh, your
he
baby-
was about
the baby
small
was
enough
in your
to be
wife's arms. Okay.
The baby, who's now 34,
Jagger was in your
was
wife's-
in my then wife's his mother's arms. We were waiting for my brother to come out of the place. He'd spent a summer in Finland, and there strolls this little elfin figure in green velvet. And my wife falls back with the baby, and she goes, "That was Mick Jagger. That was Mick. That little troll with the bodyguard." So I yanked Alex into my arms, and I went up to him, and I said, a sound that was very counterintuitive to me. I said, "Mr. Jagger." Have you ever heard him referred to as Mr.? I said, "Mr. Jagger." He turned around, and I said, "I would someday like to tell Alex that he has met you." So he took Alex's arm, and he went, "Oh, Alex, and he kissed Alex up and
my
down
God.
his arm.
That's great.
And Alex went on to a great career as a drummer, a jazz drummer. And it was his left arm that was doing it all, the one that was kissed. His right arm was kind of useless, so it must have been something to the Mick Jagger kiss. Anyway, that's the
And now
only
his
famous one I
dad-
have met. What?
Well, now his dad is talking to the former manager of the guy, the manager of the late Jimmy Miller,
Wow.
who made this record.
Yeah.
And
It's a
talk about drums. I told you, Jimmy played drums on 4 tracks on here.
wow.
But it says Charlie Watts and Jimmy Miller. Like they added Charlie's name. Charlie wasn't even at the session for Happy.
Wow. See, they're rewriting history, man, and we are the ones who remember it. The old timers.
Well, that's
We
why,
were-
I feel the urge, I don't even know why, but I feel the urge to get it right, and Little Walter, the DJ, does the same thing.
yeah.
He remasters old 50s records. He goes, Joe, it's got to be what they heard on the radio. I want that version, not the outtake, there's a Little Eva locomotion without the Carole King's hand claps. Carole King wrote it. Little Eva was her babysitter.
Oh, is
Carole
that
King's doing the
true?
hand claps, yeah.
Wow.
And I heard Oldies 103 playing it without the hand claps, and Little Walter's the mastering guy goes, no,
No,
gotta
we
pull that.
gotta put that in.
Gotta put the hand claps.
Oh my
People
God.
have to hear it the way
babysitter
they
was
heard it.
clapping, and that's the original.
No, Little Eva was the babysitter.
Oh, okay.
For Carole King and Jerry
Too
Goffin.
much.
And so she was doing demos for Carol and Jerry.
Yeah.
And they had her sing Locomotion.
Wow.
One of the greatest
Locomotion.
songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kylie Minogue from Australia and Grand Funk Railroad.
They all did it.
Yeah,
They all
but
covered it.
the Little Eva version is the magic.
That's the one. Wow.
The magic.
Wow.
Goffin
No, it's
and King.
important for those of us who remember these things to pass it down.
Well, see, that's my thing. It's like if Jimmy Miller's on drums, Tumblin' Dice. You like Tumblin' Dice?
Yeah.
At the end, Charlie's wife was pregnant, so Charlie did the most of the drums.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's in the studio. He goes, got to roll me. He goes, we need drums here. And when they explode again, that's Miller at the end. And then there's all these drums at the end, and it fades out.
Did I hear a good voice in there? You want to take that from the top again? That
Oh, you're going to
sounded-
produce
that
my
sounded
record?
Good. Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
sounded good.
Oh, thank you very much.
Have you ever sung?
I don't know, Joe, if I ever sung, I had 4 albums out in Paris. But we're not talking about me.
Really?
Yes, you can interview me on my albums in
all
Paris.
right, all right. Wow, this guy.
You went to China, or I went to Paris. I didn't go to Paris. I put the albums out
Okay.
in Paris. But
Yes,
the
we went to
book is
China.
The book is on paperback.
The book is now in paperback, so you can get it anywhere. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at any bookstore.
But is this exciting for you that the paperback edition comes out?
Yeah, it's very exciting, and it's exciting that Publishers Weekly, which is the Bible of the publishing industry, called it one of the top books of the year. So that's nice. Good things have happened since then.
In China.
No, in this United States of America.
Because my next question
Yeah.
is it translated in Chinese?
Who knows?
Morrow knows.
Oh, there's certainly not a legitimate version translated in.
Because
Chinese.
I have
We did
authors
not-
come on.
Oh yeah.
And I asked them, and
Yeah.
they say, yeah, I got the Greek version, and it blows my
Wow.
mind because I can't read it, but it's like the cover's different, and the Japanese version has a new title.
Oh, I've got a German version with the strangest cover. It's like they've got a kidney,
Voila.
on there, and the whole family is sitting around. Looks like they're about to eat a kidney. I don't understand it.
Really?
It looks like it. It's pretty.
That's bad.
Yeah, so don't buy it in German. Buy the English edition.
So they sent you
Or-
the German edition.
Yeah, they sent me the German edition, but I don't think it's sold in China, at least legitimately. But the CD is coming. The CD is coming, even though Borders or Barnes & Noble is not going to carry it.
No, they
just
have
made-
CDs.
Oh, they have
It's
CDs.
BJ's Wholesale
Oh,
Club.
BJ's Wholesale. Okay. Well, they do have the CD. Will be out in a week or two.
Did you do the audio?
I did the audio.
So are you reading it on the CD tomorrow?
It was a trip, Joe, because I had never read the whole book aloud. It took 22 hours to read the whole thing, and I was there. I was
You read the
acting
whole
out.
book?
Yeah.
Oh, because they're
Over
usually
the course
abridged.
of no, it's not abridged. It's the whole book.
Whoa.
And it was amazing. And this
Where'd you
person
do
put
it? What studio?
Well, I was in New Mexico in this book, and they flew out to New Mexico to do it. In
Morrow.
Yeah. And they no, not Morrow. David Wolf. I don't know the name of his company, but David
Wolf from Law and Order?
No.
Dick Wolf. That's Dick Wolf.
That's Dick Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah. No, a very good producer. And he came out and they set me up there and we did it. We had a party for 22 hours. And I felt transported back to China. I had Larry's voice. I was channeling the spies and the guides and his mail order bride.
Now, I'm happy to hear that because have you heard the Grateful Dead book by Phil Lesh?
No.
Now, Phil Lesh is a wonderful Grateful Dead musician.
Yeah.
And he's got the book. And Eli Polanski from WMBR said to me, it's the only Grateful Dead person to do a biography, so it's valuable.
Yeah.
But I said, but listen to the audio. The audio has like a free Box of Rain Grateful Dead live in Connecticut. That's cool.
Yeah.
Bill Graham was my friend.
Oh, no.
And then the helicopter crashed and he died.
No. So I used to be an actor. I was an actor in college and a director afterwards and stuff. So I feel I owe it to the audience to give it my all. So when I read that book, I was into it. I was channeling all those characters. I was channeling Dr. X, the mystery surgeon who gave Larry the kidney. And man, for like 3 days afterwards, I was in my mind. I was out of New Mexico and back in China.
Well, you know what that says?
What does that say?
It says the people listening to your audio CD get a performance.
It was a performance.
And listening to Lesh's CD, it's basically for the fans because they want to hear
They
want to hear the original guy who was there.
Yeah.
But it's in monotone, so he's not going to have the flair.
No. If you're gonna, if you're a writer or an actor or any person who asks for the ear of another person, your duty is to make it as valuable an experience as possible. That means entertaining, that means wise, that means funny if possible, all those things. Don't hold back of yourself. If you're going to say, I want your attention, then give of yourself.
So Dave Wolf was the producer of the CD.
Yeah.
Now, that brings up a point because the Phil Lesh thing, the woman did, I did a little investigating. I wasn't aware that they had this whole line of producers of these things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think she did
it's
Star
the whole
Trek
world.
books.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Interesting.
And it's like, okay, she's doing Star Trek and she's doing Phil Lesh, and can't she, coach?
You would think. Maybe he was uncoachable.
Yeah.
Some people are. Some people
Because
freeze up.
she had the
Some
resume.
people don't want to. A lot of writers, right? It's not an automatic thing that a writer should also be able to project and stuff because it's a solitary event. You're there. I need to be by myself 6 or 8 hours of the day, just communing with my own thoughts. But I'm a little bit unusual, or I'm of that school of writer who then needs to communicate with live human beings, and that's when I can come alive then. But a lot of writers just want to stay in that world the whole time and just be quiet and attend to their own thoughts.
Some of them get more and more freaked by China.
And some of them do, and sometimes with good reason.
So, Dave Wolf comes down to New Mexico,
Yep.
and they put you in a studio. They had a mobile unit.
A mobile unit.
They come into
With
your
all the
world.
stuff. They came into my world, and it was quite a world in New Mexico. It's very, very. I'm
You
really
go into a
culture
cavern
shocked,
or into the to do the audio. Or?
No, I was living in a trailer there, and we set up the trailer. We had little acoustics, so we dimmed the sound of the refrigerator, that ornery refrigerator in the other room, and it was great fun. It was really fun. You hear it now?
I hear something. Yeah. A buzz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And
So that's cool. And so we got the audio, we got the paperback, and we got a movie.
Oh, the movie.
Knocking on
Okay,
wood.
the
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, nothing is definite in Hollywood until
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Well, that's who Larry wanted to play him.
I want Clint to direct.
Oh, he'd be a great director.
He's an incredible director.
But I've got another director whose I can't give you his name yet. Have me back in a few months and I'll be able to give you his name. But he's, one of the best directors in town.
You know where we are.
Yeah.
And we only got a few minutes left, and then you're going to take the
Time always goes so fast with you.
It's a fun show.
It is a fun show.
Hey, we're here every Friday night doing 2 hours. You can always phone in.
Wow. Okay.
And give us updates.
Hey. That's a good idea. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'm not going to go to New Mexico for another few months. I'm going to stay.
You can even call from New Mexico. We'd love reports from New Mexico.
Cool. I will
the further,
do that.
the better.
That'll be fun. You know what? Let's really do that. I'm not just saying that. Let's really do that. That'll be fun.
Stalactites, and do you go through those Grand Canyons and
No,
stuff?
because I'm in the southern part of the state. I'm in the desert. I'm in the desert.
But did you fly over the Grand Canyon?
Not this time, no.
I've flown over it going to L.A., and it's such a sight. It's like awe-inspiring.
That's where the word awe should be reserved for. It shouldn't be used to describe, how cold the Frosty is or something. It should be used to describe the Grand Canyon. That is an awesome sight.
I will say this. Clint Eastwood didn't play Misty for me, and he should redo the movie because it had flashes of brilliance, but he just wasn't the director he is today. He got his chops there. He's so good
He's so good and subtle, and he'd be a wonderful. But the director who's going to do Larry's Kidney is a fantastic. He's really one of the best in Hollywood, and I'm thrilled with him.
Yeah, and he's got Shine a Light for the Rolling Stones, Martin. No.
No. You can't get out of me. But wait till I tell you whom they want for Larry.
I've met Alfred Hitchcock. He's not available.
You're not going to get it out of me.
Well, cool. So Larry Kidney's going to be a movie.
Yeah.
It's going to be an audio.
Yeah.
It is an audio.
It is an audio.
It's going to be
a paperback.
We got it first over a year ago in Winthrop cable.
That's right.
It's so hard for me to think Winthrop, Winchester. We're here in Winchester.
Yeah.
And and we're going to have you back to talk pop culture and Jagger and
we always have
Beatles.
a good time, so let's do it.
Yeah. You're nearby.
Yeah, I'm nearby.
And if you have authors that you want to talk to, Writer's Corner, I'm not the only host. You can host the show,
Wow.
If you've got some writer friend that wants to talk.
Totally, I do. I'm in that world.
Yeah, come on up and say, hey, we're going to go
Or
to
I can
Winchester.
recommend other writers for you.
Yeah.
I got some amusing friends.
But you'd be an interesting co-host for us, or a host for some of our segments.
That'd be great.
Hey.
Yeah. I know the new way now.
Yeah.
I know to turn left at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, well, it's on the show, we've got 2 minutes left. On the show, we talk about, on the Friday Night Soapbox, which 7 to 9 p.m. here, people call in. We do a thing, what's wrong with Winchester? We tell Brugger's to get their sourdough bagel, or we see that the water's cresting at the... But isn't this a cool community?
It seems like. I've never been here before.
Oh, the Amtrak stops right here, so people can take the Amtrak here. Then you could go up to Portland to do your book signings.
Man.
That's the thing, you should consider the train and just going up there in the summer and having fun.
Well, again, if anybody wants to invite me to their bookstores or their book groups, I've got a convertible all summer.
DanielAsaRosa.com.
Yeah, DanielAsaRose.com.
Asa Rosa. ASAROSE.
Daniel, ASAROSE.com.
Yeah. And they can email you there.
They can email me there, and I love talking about the book and about China and about literature in general. So
I asked you before, this isn't your first book, or is it?
This is my fourth book.
Fourth book.
Yeah, the New Mexico is going to be my fifth book. Oh, and I should also say, this is a true story. This is, I couldn't have made this up.
Right.
I couldn't have made up a character like Larry
or
all those illegal, details. I couldn't have made them up. It's absolutely true. It just happens to be really funny.
Whoa.
And it's a serious issue, so people should read about it and think about it and then see the message underneath, which is we all got to donate our organs because there's a shortage. We got to do what we can. We can lick this problem.
Did you go do some libraries and readings in libraries in New Mexico?
No, I'm keeping a really low profile in New Mexico. I'm a cowboy in New Mexico.
See, I'm a library
you are?
person. I like to go touch them and get memberships. And I get a membership in Washington. I was in Washington State and I got a membership.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Just to have,
That's nice. That's very nice.
I have library cards in 4 states, Florida, New York, Washington, and Massachusetts.
That's very nice.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And being an author, I think it's a world that you've got to be in it.
When I travel, I do go into bookstores because I like meeting the people and stuff like that. But
well, Daniel, thanks for coming up here. It's
my pleasure.
And today is May 26th, 2010. I love to date the shows, and adios.
Adios.